So each thread is going to have name, thread names. Okay, as I told you at the beginning, so there are thread class methods. We discussed only few methods. The other methods, when we go into the concept, each and every concept, we'll discuss the rest of the set of methods which we are going to get. Okay, so first one is how to do a thread is going to have any name. Your thread is going to have some names. So what is that name is? To get the name, we have a method called get name. Get name. So which returns the name of the thread. Which returns the name of the thread. Similarly, you want to set some name. Set name. Here you have to give the name. Whichever name you want to set, that name you have to give here. It is of void type. It does not return anything. Is that right? So now set name will set the name for your thread. Get name will return the name of the thread. Get name will return the name of the thread. Set name is going to set the name of the thread. Okay. So now if I don't set anything, what name will be there? If I don't set anything, what name will be there? Okay. We'll see with an example. Suppose I created a class. The same example I am writing thread A extends thread. Is it right? So implementation not needed. Simply we want to know the name of the thread. So we'll write class name demo public static void main string args. Okay, I create object for thread class thread. So T1 is equal to new thread A. Okay, so now I'll write system.out.println T1.getName. 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 I did not give any name. So by default, what name will be there? So by default, each and every thread object will have one name called thread 0, like this. If we have another one, thread 1, thread 2. By default, it will give names like this. So the output that you'll be getting is thread 0. Thread 0. So each and every thread will be assigned a default name. Okay. If you don't give anything. Okay, now how to get the name of your main thread. So now this is one main thread. How to get the name is, see, you have a static method called current thread. Current thread. It will return the current thread object. What is the current thread here? Main thread. Current thread is my main thread. Okay. So current thread dot get name. Get name. If I give, I'll get the name of the main thread. So if I use system.out.println, all these things, whole thing. Okay. So what is the name for main thread is by default it is, you will get the output as main. Main. The output is main. Okay. So remember this syntax. Current thread is a static method which will get the current thread object. So since we don't have the object for the main thread, we are using this technique to get the name. Is that right? So current thread dot get name. If you see, you'll get the name of your main thread. Okay. So this is how you can get the name. If you want to set the name, you can set system not needed. So T1 dot set name. Set name. Suppose I want to give the name as child thread. Child thread. So now if I print, I'll get the output as child thread. So if you don't give any name, by default, the threads are numbered as thread 0, thread 1 like this. Okay. Your main thread is by default, it is main thread. Okay. You want to change names means you can use set name. For getting names, this is the get name. To get any properties of main thread, because we don't create object for the main thread, to get any properties of your main thread, this is the technique. Current thread dot get any property, whatever you want. I'm getting the property, or I can get any other property, whatever you require. So this is how you can set the name for a thread and get the name of a thread. I hope you understood. We'll move to the next one. we'll move to the next one. So that is a little important. So that is priority of threads. Thread priorities otherwise. Thread priority or thread priorities. Okay. So now, what is this priority? So when this priority will come into picture? Okay. Whenever there is a competition for something, whenever there is a competition for something, then only priority will be coming. So suppose there is a processor and there are different threads, T1, T2, T3, T4. So they are waiting for a chance. They are waiting for the processor to give a chance for getting executed. So now the processor or the thread scheduler will give preference to which one? T1, T2, T3 or T4. So now if none of them is there, only T1 is there, there is no need of checking the priority. Whenever you have more than one threads which are competing for a particular resource, nothing but processor, then you need to check the priority of the threads. Then you are going to give the chance for which thread which is having high priority. Okay. So now how the priorities are assigned. So priorities are assigned from 1 to 10. The priorities of threads are given with the values 1 to 10. So 1 is the minimum priority, 10 is the maximum priority. What is that? 1 is the minimum priority, 10 is the maximum priority. So these priority values are used to assign for the threads. So there are 3 priority values. Thread dot min priority, whose value is 1, whose value is 1. Okay, so the total range of values is 1 to 10. Range of values is 1 to 10. So min dot priority. So this is a constant. So whenever we write in capital letters like this indicates that variables are constant variables. So now this is a constant whose value is 1. Similarly, thread dot norm underscore priority, whose value is 5. Similarly, thread dot max underscore priority, whose value is 10. So these values are assigned for threads as priority values. So this is the value and this is the constant. Okay. If I don't assign any priority, by default it is normal priority for your main thread. By default it is normal priority for your main thread. So there are 2 methods. One is set priority. So which is used for setting the priority for a thread. Similarly, you have a method which returns the priority value. Get priority. So this will return the priority of the thread. Set priority will set the priority, and get priority method is a method which is going to return the priority of a thread. Okay. So we'll see an example. Thread A extends thread. So I'm not writing anything. So class, suppose prio demo or something. Prio demo. So public static void main string args. Okay. So now what I do is, so now how to get the priority of the main thread? So I told you to get the priority is, so system.out.println you can write. So thread dot current thread dot get priority. Okay, for main thread only you have to use this method. Sorry, it is a method. You have to use the method. You have to call this method. It will return the current thread object. Current thread is your main thread. You will get the priority values. Now thread T1 is equal to new thread of, sorry, thread A, new thread. So now I'll say T1 dot set priority of, suppose, some 7. I'll write system.out.println T1 dot get priority. get priority. Okay, so now the default priority for your main thread is 5. What is the output you will be getting? 5. Here we will be getting 5. Here I am setting the priority as 7. So I'll get the value as 5 and 7. 5 and 7. Okay, so now if I don't set this, what happens? If I don't set this, what happens? Okay, if I don't set this, what happens? Okay, the thing is, the child thread will always acquire the priority of the main thread. Now this is the child thread which is there in the main thread. It will acquire the priority of the main thread. Main thread priority what? 5. If I change the main thread priority, suppose thread dot current thread dot set priority of some 7 I am giving. Okay, so this line you can take at the top. Okay, I am setting the priority as 7, then I am printing. Now if I print this one, both I'll be getting as 7 because it acquires the priority of your main thread. A child thread will always acquire the priority of the parent thread. Okay, if you want, I'll show you the demo. You can see it. I'll show you the demo. To save time, I already put the code, the same code what I told you. So this is the code. So I'm getting the priority. Okay, suppose I'm setting the priority. For example, I'll set the priority as 7. I'll set the priority as 7. For T1 thread, I'm not setting any priority. I'm trying to get the priority. So now I'll execute. Okay, what I'm getting? 7 and 7. It acquires the property of the main thread. Okay, if you don't assign any priority, it will default acquire the priority of its parent thread. A child thread will acquire the property of a parent thread by default. Is that right? But the default priority for main thread is 5. Okay, you can see here. I removed that. I commented that. So now I get 5 because the priority of main thread is 5. The child thread will also get the same priority. Is that right? So this is how you can set the priority. So one more question. Otherwise, I'll ask this question and I'll end it. Okay. So suppose if I give a priority value 17. Okay. What happens? If I give a priority value 17, what happens? You can tell your answers. If I give a priority value 17, what happens? I'm giving the value as 17. Error. Yeah, fine, correct. So the thing is, the valid range is 1 to 10. I should not exceed the valid range. I should not give a value which is greater than 10. A value greater than 10 and a value less than 1 is not allowed. I should